I went to fire camp when I was 28 years old. I was 27. I went to fire camp. I went to Mount Gleason, and it was right there at up in the mountains of Tahunga. You remember? I remember that when I called you, Donnie, and the second day I got there, and I was like, somebody's gonna be driving down here. If you can give him a little bit of weed for me, and you remember that?
Yeah.
When I was at the camp?
No, I remember when you were there. That's when you met your girl, I think, right?
Exactly. That's after the camp burned down, but it was fire season lasts from like March till January, and one day all our crews got called out to a couple different fires. So we went out on one, and then a couple other crews went out on another one, and that other one was the station fire. And in the station fire in 2008 was like when the Angeles Crest National Forest, like 200,000 acres burned down. So the crew that was on the fire almost had it contained, and they were about to hook the fire, and
This call is being recorded.
they almost had a line around the whole fire. Well, some of there's politics going on in all this, in all the, in everything, but like in fires, like some of the land is owned by the Bureau of Land Management, some of it's owned by the federal government, and then some of it's owned by the California Department of Forestry. So they get whatever part of the land it is, they get to dictate who works on the fire, if they want them to leave or not. So when the feds we were on the initial attack. So when the feds pulled up, they kicked all the LA County fire crews off the fire. And what the feds do, they just let it burn. They just want to let it burn, let it burn, let it burn. For whatever reasons they have, I don't know. Maybe like it's good for the forest. Something. A lot of plants don't lay out seeds unless they've been burnt. But like they let it burn, right? So we go back to the camp, and Mount Gleason was on like the top of like a 7-mile road in the middle of Angeles Crest Forest. It was like an old like Pepsi, like a missile silo place that they turned into a fire camp. And there's like a little campsite up there, and every day you hike these hikes up around the camp. Well, so the idea was, what they did was they kicked off all the people that weren't grade eligible, which was they weren't trained to fight fires, and they put them all in Francisquito until we fought the fire. And what they thought was going to happen was we were going to what they said was that we were going to wait for the fire to trickle around the camp, and then we were going to put out hot spots around the fire. Whatever was burning around the camp, we were going to put out. So for like a day and a half, almost 2 days, we're watching as the smoke plume just gets closer and closer, and then finally the fire reached the ridge that was across from us, and they called everybody to chow hall. And I smoked a stick of weed right before that happens, and then like we go and they have us packing up and tooling out, right? And we're packing up. They're giving us our fire saw, and in LA County they use zigs, and a zig is like a little tank that they have that has gas and oil for the chainsaws. So the CCVs are over by the heli spot. There's a heli spot at the camp, and so I'm looking and I'm seeing, no joke, dude, there's like 150-foot flames coming over the helipad. And that's when I realized, like, oh, this is going to get deep, dude. Like, this isn't just going to trickle around the camp, you know? Like, this is going to engulf this whole camp in flames, dude. And
I remember that station fire. That shit was nuts. You burned down a lot.
And according to satellite imagery,
This call is being recorded.
we were at the hottest point in the fire. And for some reason, they thought that we were just going to put out hot spots. But there was no reason for us to be up there. Because you can't fight a fire when you're stuck in the middle of it, bro. There's nothing you can do to fight the fire. All you could do is sit it out and wait. So the fire comes. We have the camp. Chief there of all Southern camps, some black lady, and she's like sitting there. She's like, I just want to let you guys know that I would never put you guys in harm's way without doing it to myself. And we were like, oh, well, that doesn't really make any better of a difference, because if we're all dead, we're all dead. And so we go to the chow hall, and on the chow hall there's big windows, so you could see to the left and you could see to the right of you. And so I'm watching, and it's like 4 in the afternoon on an August day, dude, and it gets pitch black, and like it looked like hell. Like there was. God only knows how big the flames were, but all you could see was orange, and it sounded like there was a freight train going through the camp, and everything around us was burning, dude. You could see trash and stuff like spinning in a circle, and in the radiant heat it would just combust in flames. And right next to the chow hall there was a big window, and in that window the fire office was there, and there was a big pine tree. So I'm freaking out by this time. I'm thinking that I'm gonna die in prison. The camp commander is standing, or the camp lady, by now she's standing on the table crying her eyes out. She's snot coming out of her nose. She's freaking out. Everybody in the chow hall is freaking out. The captain, one of the captains is telling us to leave the chow hall, and the other captain stops him because like there's nowhere for us to go. If we ran out into that fire, it's going to suck all the oxygen out of our lungs and just burn us up in a second, you know. So we're waiting, and the only thing that's keeping me sane is that I keep looking to the left to see like if the fire office and this palm tree isn't burning yet, and it's not burning, and then all of a sudden the thing just crowns and torches, and it looked like the whole tree just exploded, boom, you know. And then and now I'm freaking out, bro. I'm thinking I'm gonna die. That's all I keep thinking to myself. I'm gonna die in prison. I had a lighter in my pocket. I threw it away. And then there's a under below the camp.
This call is being recorded.
There's a fire road that goes out to this campsite over there, and the two captains, Quiones and Hall, they're gonna backburn from that road to the camp. So they thought, right? But they waited too late. So now they're coming back after backburning, and the fire comes up the ridge, and they don't know where they're going. They have no idea because it's so smoky. So they miss the turn that turns it into the camp, and they just go off the hillside and into the fire. And the last transmission on the radio was that we're coming in hot, and then we lost contact with them. And then so now finally the fire's starting to burn us over. So now we deploy our fire shelters. Now the chow hall is burning with us inside of it.
That's like that little silver blanket that you lay under.
Yeah, exactly. Which is like I mean you could say like it's like a piece of like a giant piece of insulated foil, and it's supposed to.
Yeah, I've seen it on movies.
Right. So we deploy our fire shelters, and we wait a little longer. The chow hall is burning with us inside of it, like I said, and I can't see anything in front of me. Nobody can. I threw away the lighter I had in my pocket because I don't want the thing to explode, bro. It looks like hell. They open the gates of hell right in front of us. So finally we run out. Into the fire, and there's baseball-sized embers, volleyball-sized embers raining on us on our fire shelter, and we run to the CCV, and we cover the windows with our fire shelter until everything burns over, and everybody's in there, and it's like that's the closest I'll ever be to death for sure without dying, because it was crazy, dude. The whole camp pretty much melted. So after everything burned over, what we did was we dropped off the lady because we had the camp.
This call is being recorded.
So what we did was we dropped her off, and now what they want us to do was they want us to go and help get these bodies up from the side of the mountain. So, and then that's when it dawned on me. I'm like, oh yeah, I have a cell phone, because I completely forgot that I had my phone. And that's when I took all those pictures. Remember the pictures I was sending you? And it was.
Yeah, I need a fucking. Damn, that must have been like before you could save pictures. I wonder. Like, that's why you're supposed to keep all your old phones so you can go back through them and like find pictures, you know? Fuck.
I know. I wish we had them because that was the what I took pictures of. I can remember clear as day. It was the CDC office, the white TV room, and the hobby. And I remember I remember the windows were all melted. All the metal in the hobby office was melted. So we drive past all that stuff. We go down there and we hike down to where the F-250 is. But like I'm telling my captain, like, I'm traumatized, dude. Like I just almost died, and I don't want to help pick up two charred bodies from.
It was the two dudes that went out there to try to do it, are the ones that got burnt?
Try to backburn. It
like
was
those two guys?
Yeah. It was Captain Hall and Foreman Quiones, and they died, and so the whole camp is burnt, bro. Now we go back, so they finally make a decision not to have us help them bring up the bodies, you know, because everybody's like tripping, dude. Like, I don't really feel
for
like
that shit.
Yeah, I didn't sign up for that, you know. And so what they did was they take us to Chino and they give us a psych evaluation, make sure that we were all right, and then they had us staging at Francisquito, which is like right here by Wayside where I'm at now, but it's over here by Magic Mountain off McBean Parkway, and they had us living in tents for 2 months. And then, so what they did, right, now mind you, dude, like we have nothing, dude. Everything that we own burnt in that fire that they had us up there on. So what they do is they come and they bring a toothpaste, a VO5 shampoo, and a deodorant. They pass it out to you, and as they're passing it out to us, they're giving us a trust account withdrawal. Right? So they want to take the money off our books for the cosmetics they're giving us, dude.
Wow.
CDC don't miss a beat, huh? Like,
that's
just
a joke.
we were just like, really, you know? Because like there's a satellite up on not Mount Whitney. There's a mountain up here in San Gabriel Valley, and the California Department of Forestry or the feds worked harder to save those satellites up there than they did trying to save us, because we were gone, bro. Like the only reason why we survived is nothing but God, bro, or some divine intervention, because we all would have been dead, you know. And so we stayed in tents for 2 months, and then they moved all the kids out of Camp Holton, and Camp Holton's right there. If you're familiar with the San Fernando Valley, it's right there where the Hanson Dam's at, right?
Yeah.
And so we found a way where we could sneak out of the camp. We cut the lock of this little gated-in enclosure where the swamp cooler was, and so now I could sneak out of the camp, and that's where my brother hooked me up with my baby's mom. You remember that? And she'd go see her and give her a little bit of weed for me and shit.
Yeah, that's when she used
so
to live right there by my mom.
Huh?
When she used to live over there by my mom.
Yeah, exactly. Right around the corner. And so I would go on little dates with her, like an hour long, you know. And
bush visit.
We'd do our thing, have a little bush visit, and then so I got her pregnant. So that's where my first son was conceived at fire camp, you know. So.
When he asked you later, where was I conceived at, Dad?
What?
When he asked you later, have you ever asked, where was I conceived at? This call is being recorded.
Yeah. All right, they're closing down the phones, bro.